Okay, so for my presentation, I wanted to do it on a man named Robert Hughes Jr. And he was known for many things in his life, but one of the most things was him being a record-setting pilot. And we're going to learn about his early childhood up to his Hollywood career in film, and then his aviation career, and then to his death at the end. So for his childhood and early life, he was born December 24th, 1905, to a very wealthy family. He was an only child, and his parents died when he was about 16, so he was pretty young. His father was a multi-billionaire and owned an oil company, which was eventually passed down to him. And so he went to the California Institute of Technology and dropped out in his freshman year to inherit his father's business and to just run and manage the company. And so he sold the company in 1972 for over $1 billion. And he made his very own radio transmitter when he was about 13 years old out of an electric doorbell. So when he was very young, he was known to be like an inventive child, and he also developed and built a motor for his bike as well. So after his childhood, we lead into his Hollywood and production career. So he produced and directed many movies in Hollywood, and some of his most famous movies were Scarface in 1932, Two Arabian Nights in 1927, Hell's Angels in 1930, and he met his wife during his time in Hollywood in 1957, but he did divorce her in 1971 just due to marital problems. And he was known for being out of the public's eye, and he became a hermit, which he was like obsessed with himself and his accomplishments, but he wasn't necessarily in like the social world in Hollywood. He very much kept to himself. He didn't have a lot of friends. He had no family, seeing that both of his parents died and he didn't have any siblings. So he wanted to be out of the social construct in the world. So for his aviation career, he founded the Hughes Aviation Aircraft Company in 1932 after obtaining his pilot's license. And then he set the world speed record in 1935 and then set the world flight record in 1936. He was awarded the Collier Trophy and the Octave Shant Award in 1940. And he was awarded the Congressional Medal in 1941. So the picture on the right that you see, it's called the Spruce Goose, and it was the world's largest wooden plane to be used as a troop carrier in World War II. And something interesting about the plane is that when he was test flying it, he actually discovered that the plane was faulty, and he did crash the plane, and he had multiple injuries, but a year later he recovered and he flew it again. So for his death and the scandals leading up to his death, as I said before, he lived a very private and quiet life after his aviation career. He was inducted to the Aviation Hall of Fame, and he was involved in the Watergate scandal for Mafia Incorporation because he made over, I think, 10 loans to President Nixon during his time in his presidency, and he made loans to his brother. He eventually died April 5th in 1976 in an airplane on his way to the medical center. Towards the end of his life, he was moving from, I think, Mexico, Canada, just different remote places that he could be, because he didn't want to be in the world's eye. He was very famous and popular, and towards the end of his death, they actually couldn't find him. So when they found his body, they had to get fingerprints from him because nobody could recognize him, because they forgot what he had looked like because he had been out of the public's eye for so long. And then these are some of my references that I have. And then just one of the last things I wanted to say about him, the reason I chose him for my project, because I thought he was a very interesting man. He led a life that was full of accomplishments, and he discovered and invented great things. But towards the end of his life, because he didn't have any family, he didn't have any friends, he died alone. And I wanted to put some light on him because he's often forgotten in the aviation industry, just because of how not popular he was towards the end of his life. And then that's it.